chess friends, hope you are doing well. Today, I have a very astonishing and brilliant chess game that I played against the new chess engine, Redfish. Redfish is a brand new chess engine that was recently introduced to the chess world. It is the fastest growing chess engine worldwide, with a nearly 4000 ELO rating. This game is very amazing and crucial, so let's get started without wasting any time. I started the game with d4, and Redfish, with the black pieces, replied with knight f6. Here you can play c4. But instead, I opted for bishop g5, attacking the knight, rather than playing d5. Redfish chose knight e4, attacking my bishop. I played h4 to protect the bishop instead of making any other natural-looking moves. We then had h6, followed by bishop f4 and c5 on the board. Do you remember what I taught you about the opening? Yes, you're right, it's not about capturing the pawn on c5 but pushing the pawn to d5. Even with the knight on e4, black will now consider either e6 or d6. If Redfish plays d6, I can disrupt his position by playing f3, kicking out the knight first. As the knight moves, I will play e4, establishing a strong pawn structure in the center like a great China wall to prevent any sort of enemy infiltration. However, in our actual game, Redfish did not play d6. Instead, he played queen b6, eyeing my b2 pawn. What would you do in this position? Many chess players might consider playing bishop e5 as it seems like a bold choice to protect the pawn, but after d6 comes on the board, the bishop retreats, and you can see your pawn is under attack. Hence, knight takes c3 might not seem a good move. After b takes c3, black will play queen takes b2, and after knight d2, black will capture the pawn on c3 on the next move, but black might say, hold my beer, I will play g6, bringing my bishop into your territory to invade. So, going back to the position, we see that playing bishop e5 won't bring any advantages. This is why many chess players might consider queen c1, but it's also a vulnerable move because after c4, attacking the pawn, and something like e3, queen a5 knight d2, and c3, black will capture the d5 pawn. Later, he will capture the c3 pawn, and white will have only usual stops like developing pieces. There isn't much to do in this position, and black holds a slight advantage. So, going back to the position, we see that any bishop or queen move is wasted, like making notes in college but forgetting to save them, resulting in all notes being lost. I played knight d2, attacking the knight, and many players might consider recreating their knight on f6, which is a vulnerable move because white can respond with e4, creating a strong pawn structure. Black might then consider queen takes b2 as it looks like a great move, but my rook will come to b1, saying, hey queen, I will date you. The queen says, sorry, I have a boyfriend, and after the knight comes to c4. The queen will be trapped. Even if black plays b5, it does not matter. White will play rook a1, attacking the queen, and the queen will be lost on the next move. So, going back to the position, some may consider queen a5, but it does not matter because of rook a1. After queen b5, knight d6 check will fork the queen, and the queen will be taken by the bishop on the next move. This is just over for him. So, going back to the position, we see that any sort of knight move is passive. That's why we have knight takes e4, and after the capture, we have queen takes b2. So far, so good. He grabbed one pawn, and many players again might consider e4, but Redfish can respond with queen e5, attacking the pawn. Playing bishop p3 does not protect the pawn because there is c4, attacking the pawn, and the queen cannot protect it because your rook will be hanging. The aggressive queen will mark all the pieces as red, and Redfish will win the game. A few moves ago, I didn't consider e4 because I am not an ordinary chess player. I am the god of the Milky Way galaxy in chess. We have e3 because I want to develop my bishop, and something like g5 happened on the board to bring out the bishop to control the diagonal. What should white consider in this position? Think a little for yourself. Some might consider capturing the pawn, but after exchanges, rook b1 will arrive because the h-file is wide open. After the queen retreats to f6, I will just recapture the rook, and there will be no advantage for either player. We are just fishes in the big ocean, and nobody will find the gold in the depths of the sea. So, going back to the position, as the Stockfish, I played knight e2 to consider bishop c3, attacking the queen and simultaneously attacking the rook. That's my plan, which is why Redfish played bishop g7. What should you consider in this position? Many foolish chess players might think of capturing the pawn on a2, but as I told you, too much greed can bring destruction. I will play knight c3, attacking the queen, and you can see that the queen is almost trapped. Black might consider capturing the knight on c3, but after I recapture, the rook will be under attack. After rook g8, I will play rook a1, and your queen will still be trapped. Returning to the position, as we discovered that the bishop cannot capture the knight, black might try to escape by playing queen a5, then, I will consider knight b5, attacking the queen, and after queen b6, b6 will come on the board. I am sacrificing one pawn, and you have to accept my sacrifice because there is no other choice. Knight c7 is a very big threat in your position, which is why after you capture the pawn, my bishop will come to c4. I'll say to black, hold on my t, I will invade your pawn on f7 with my bishop, and along with my queen on h5 and queen f3, both moves are crucial, and you can see that your light-squared bishop is trapped by your pawns. Your 11 points of material are also very passive. Even playing knight c6 won't bring any advantage because there is knight takes d6 check with a check. The king's position and the structure on the A and B files are vulnerable, like a broken AC producing heat in the summer. So, going back to the position, we discover that capturing the pawn is a very bad choice. Redfish knows this because he is experienced and makes others suffer with his cruel moves. He just moved his queen back. And as my knight comes to g3, many players might think of capturing the pawn on h4. Let me show you the variation, otherwise, you won't understand. I have to show you all the variations and positions to help your understanding. Knight g5 will come, attacking these pieces, and as the queen moves to g6, now my bishop can't go to d3 to attack the queen because the queen can capture the pawn. That's why I need to push my pawn to g4 first, supporting the pawn and threatening to play bishop d3. All moves are crucial, and black might be tempted to capture the pawn on g3. It might look like a magical move, but my bishop will arrive at d3, attacking the queen and putting the bishop under attack. But after queen g5, f4 follows, and the queen will be trapped again. Where should the queen go? Black might attempt queen takes g2 check, attacking the rook, but as the king moves up, pawn promotion, and I capture the knight, the biggest question will be what happens to the queen. She has to sacrifice herself on h5, completely turning the game in my favor. So, let me share an inspirational quote about work. One day, you will wake up and there won't be any more time to do the things you've always wanted. Do it now. So, going back to the position, we discovered that capturing the pawn on h4 is not viable. Are you understanding what I am saying? Or does it seem like I am saying blah blah blah, and you cannot understand my chess analysis? Nobody can analyze like me on the whole of YouTube, and nobody can play like me in the whole chess game. Redfish just played queen e5, saying that he can play better than me, but Redfish, you are just a Redfish who doesn't know the ground reality about me. I am a champion, more than 16 times, and you have not even passed 16 days yet since you have born. Stay in your limits. Redfish played d6 to open up the bishop's diagonal, which is amazing. I just played a short side castle. Let's look at this position. Noticing my rook is not on h1 to protect the pawn, many chess players might think of capturing the pawn on h4 as it seems logical, but every time you win a pawn or get something new, a downfall can come soon. So, f4 will come on the board, attacking the queen, and as the queen moves back, knight h5 will again attack the queen and the bishop simultaneously. As the queen moves again, f5 will come, queen g5 followed by e4 will arrive, attacking the queen. Just look at your queen's position. My pawn structure locks down your position, and the queen will be under attack. Many chess players, even at the grandmaster level, might consider playing bishop d4 check, releasing the queen on this file. That move is playable, but there is f6 on the board, supported by the knight and rook. Your king in the center will face a cramped position, a fragile situation like suffering from multiple illnesses simultaneously. So, going back to the position, we discovered that capturing the pawn is not viable. Redfish just pushed his pawn, inviting my knight to capture the pawn on h5, which is an effective move because we are playing chess at a 4000 ELO level. At this point, many chess players might consider capturing the pawn on h4, which looks natural, but every natural-looking move has a dangerous counterpart. I will invade you by playing f4, now what? Your queen is under attack, the knight is controlling these squares, and the queen cannot escape on the dark squares. You will lose the bishop, and the game will be in my hands like a magician with magical powers, pulling rabbits and elephants from a hat. So, going back to the position, we discovered that capturing the pawn is not viable. Redfish just considered g4 to block the bishop's path, so, I captured the dark squared bishop, and after the capture, we have g3. So far, so good, making a pawn structure on the king side, followed by f6 and b6. You can see that black's entire pawn structure is on dark squares, while my dark squared bishop is very active. On the other hand, Redfish's bishop is also playing a crucial role on its diagonal, and my pawn structure is on the light squares. Even though black's knight can join these outposts, it's far away, and I have no knights to play. I only have my bishop pair, which is not bad. In an open game, a bishop pair is crucial and significant, capable of making attacks and bombarding your position. Let's see how I bombard black's position. I initiate with queen a4 check, and you can see that the bishop cannot block it because I can grab your knight as the king moves. After a few moves, we have queen d7 attacking the pawn and the bishop. Later, I can play f3 to open up my rook file, effectively and efficiently, like advancing technology and science to highlight the modern age. After a few more moves, my queen returns to a4, and soon we have queen d8 and rook e1. My idea is to consider e5 in the near future if possible. That would be a crucial tactic if the position opens. After a few moves, like an octopus holding its prey in the ocean's depth, I played e5 to break Redfish's backbone. If Redfish dares to capture the pawn on e5, it will bring disadvantages because I will play a5, attacking the pawn with my two pieces. Also, I have a half-open rook file, and the bishop can come to e4. There are many tactics and strategies in this position that I cannot illustrate fully because the video would be too long. I just shared the key ideas of what will happen to black and how I will attack black's pieces. Do you understand? So, let me provide you a self-love quote. Take care of your physical and mental health. You can only perform at your best when you feel your best. So, going back to the position, Redfish decided to capture the pawn with his f-pawn rather than playing d takes e5. Redfish is a super chess engine that knows the vulnerabilities behind every move and knows what, how, and where to act like a professional businessman. If he is a businessman, then I am the entrepreneur. If he is a chess player, then I am the chess god. If he is a runner, then I am the Olympic champion. What did I play? Can you guess? The brilliant move is bishop takes e5. What a brilliant sacrifice. After the exchanges, it attacks the pawn, and you can see that your king is completely vulnerable. After something like knight b4 played by Redfish, I played queen e2, attacking the pawn. Many inexperienced chess players might consider queen e8 to protect the pawn, but that is a vulnerable move because I can triple my rooks on the e-file with rook e1. Your rook cannot protect the pawn, which is why the pawn is pushed forward and protected by the two pieces. After bishop e4 and rook e1, I capture the pawn and push the pawn to e6, playing queen h5 check. After a few checks I will play rook g5, and rook g8 will follow. I will win the game completely. This position holds significant possibilities for me. After queen f7, it doesn't matter because I have a decisive move with queen h8 check. The black king is paralyzed and will be gone on the next move. So, going back to the position, we discovered that any queen move is not valuable to protect the pawn, which is why he captured the bishop. I ignored it because I captured the pawn, aiming for the king rather than the knight. The king cannot go to f8 because rook e8 is there. If the king goes to f6, it is a vulnerable move because rook d1 will come. As the knight moves, Queen e5 will arrive, and consequently, Queen g5 will follow, leading to a checkmate. The game will be over. So, going back to the position, as the king cannot go to f6, Redfish considered king g6 as the best move. After capturing the bishop, I played queen e3 to prepare for queen g5 on the next move, leading to a checkmate. After the rook moves, we have rook d1 to push the pawn, and after a few moves, my pawn reached d7. You can see that all your pieces are paralyzed, my pawn is well protected, and you have nothing to move. As the queen moves, we have a5 and b5, after a few moves, I captured the pawn. And you can see my rook coming to d6. After a check played by Redfish, he is losing the game because my rook and queen are playing a crucial role on black's king side. The king is completely exposed. As the queen moves to f6 to protect, we have rook d6. After a few exchanges, I won his queen. In the end, after a few moves, I had 3 connected passed pawns, and I was completely winning. Redfish had nothing to do. I pushed my g and h pawns and won the game. I promoted to a new rook to mock and satirize Redfish because he is nothing compared to me. Finally, I checkmated him with my 2 queens. I hope you enjoyed the game very much. If so, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Wishing you all the best. Bye bye, take care, see you soon.